Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is just going to be another straight sort of fruit machine review, a fruit machine emulation layout review. There's no tips or tricks or methods or emptiers or anything like that. It is just me yakking about the machine itself, just to get that out there up front so you know what will and will not be in this video. It's just a fruit machine review. Now this one here is Cup Final. Released by BWB back in the early 90s, probably 93, 94 maybe, something like that. This was, I think this was originally released on a £6 jackpot. There was a slightly early version of this machine called the Big Match. Essentially the same thing, but that was released on a £4.80 jackpot. I would love to see a layout if the ROMs are out there for that. But Cup Final is basically the same thing. But this was a native £6 version of that machine. As you can see, it's a football themed affair going on. We've got feature game up here, sort of football feature game. We've got like a band-aid, a little bit like the Ace Hidden Treasures machines. Wins, high-low gambles, all the usual stuff. Now, the thing with this machine is I am not putting it into the same company as Screenplay and Indiana Jones. Now, if you've seen the videos that I've done on Screenplay and Indiana Jones, they are like in the Hall of Fame as the best fruit machines ever made. You know, they are straight 10 out of 10 machines. Now, Cup Final isn't that good. I'll talk about why I don't think it is, but it's still getting a video because this was one of the layouts that as soon as I saw this released over at Desert Island Fruits, Reg did this classic over here, I downloaded it and I played it. It was one of those machines that I really wanted to play again because I do remember these very, very clearly back in the day. BWB kind of did their own thing. They were using the same MPU4 hardware, the same cabinets as Barcrest at the time, but their machines had their own feel and their own profile about them. They weren't quite the same thing. And I do remember them as being quite sort of harsh and quite lumpy, even on these small jackpots. It was like they were constantly kind of saving up for little mini streaks and that kind of thing. You could lose a few quid on these things quite easily. Now, I'm saying that thinking that there wasn't anything on them. There were no like methods or empties or whatever, anything like that that could leave the machine in an unusually dead state. If there was, I don't know what it was. Because I just played these the same as I played everything else at that time. Now, there is a little bit of story behind this one because Reg released it a couple of weeks ago, I think. February the 10th, and I was straight on it because this was one that I really wanted to play. Thanked him for the layout and so on, but very, very quickly started to think that something wasn't right with it because it just wasn't paying out. I remembered them as being a little bit mean, but I got there, and this is an unlisted video. This was just posted for the purposes of demonstrating what I thought was wrong with it. If you go to Desert Island Fruits, if you're not registered there already, to be honest, you probably should be, because it's turning into quite a primary fruit machine emulation site. The video's unlisted, but if you just click on the link at the forums there, it will work. And I was putting like £30 at a time through and nothing was happening. It wasn't paying anything out, and I got it there. You can see there to 12.126% payout. And what actually happened here, which was fantastic, was Wizard himself, the emulator coder, stepped in and said, actually, the character file for this is wrong. It's not working properly. And once that was applied, the layout then started working properly. I lobbed a fair few quid through it in autoplay, and everything was good, and I could then play the machine properly because I wanted to do a video on this one right from the start. So of course it's window draggy there. So of course many thanks to Reg for doing the layout itself, but also to Wizard, the emulator coder. He's around, he's posting, he's active, and essentially he fixed this layout and he made it properly playable. So I mean, not of course we have all the thanks in the world for Wizard for writing this emulator and giving us version 5, 5.1 and version 6. But he's actually actively around, giving advice, fixing layouts. All that. This is not an isolated incident. He's sort of active and around and helping people on the scene make better layouts, which is fantastic. So, following on from that, I then used our good old friend Autoplay to lump a fair few quid through this. It's not a massive amount of money, but remember this is only a £6 jackpot machine. It's had £558.40 into it. It's paid out 427 quid. It's running at 76.5%. So it's actually a bit behind percentage. So you see there it's got a drift of £42 in its favour. So what I am now hoping for is that on our current session, we might actually have a little decent run on it. So what I'm going to do is put a fiver in, and we will see how we go. And what I'm going to do here, the point of this video is to explain why I think this machine is so good, and why I think it's worthy of a video, but also why it's not quite going to go into the Hall of Fame. Now, first of all, I think I've got the volume about right here. I've done a test record, so I think you should be able to hear me okay, which is not necessarily a good thing, depending on your opinion. But you'll also be able to hear the sounds of the machine. I mean, this has got a really... Now, I think I actually want to... Oh, no, I don't actually want to hit that, really. I think if you the problem with that is you just get £2.20, there's no repeat, there's nothing else like that, and it's all over. And this is going to come to, in fact, I mean, I'll just use this to lead into what my first issue with this machine is. It's almost trying to do two things at the same time and doesn't manage to get either of them absolutely perfect. Now, I guess you'd go for the feature there because the high-low gamble on this is very harsh at the best of times. You certainly wouldn't want to be taking on a high-low gamble on a 5, because this will kill you on 2s and 3s for fun and, 10s and 11s when it really shouldn't. So let's kick off up the board. Now, I think if you just miss the shot... The problem with the shot is... so it was like fucking 80p or £1 or whatever it was. If you actually get it in, that's it. That's the end of the feature. That's the whole thing done. Oh, penalty now. We'll try and hit that because that's a £3 repeater. That's actually going quite quick, isn't it? I think I can hit that. There we are. Thank you. We got a nice little sample now as well. I mean, the BWB did some fantastic sound packages. I think they were a little bit ahead of the competition for my money. Will we get extra time? No, we will not get extra time. However, even though this feature's looking quite good fun at the moment, I'll be the first to admit, the issue with it is it's a little bit one note. Because for all these squares that you can see, none of them really amount to anything. The problem is when you get a chance of a shot, and can you see there's a lot of chance of a shot squares there. If you hit it, you just get a single cash value, no repeat, no restart chance, nothing. So it's often like, and it's usually around the value of the board that you're at. You can see where these squares are kind of nestled, and that's generally what they're worth. I mean, you don't want to be... Who wants to be collecting £1.60 or £2 or anything like that? And everything else, so you've got throw-in is just like a random sort of dapple. Now, the referee and your tackles are kind of your mysteries. They can kill you or boost you, whatever. That's fine. No problem with that being on the machine. But really, the only thing that I ever collected on this back in the day was that there. Now, that was actually a £3 repeater square. You can't see it on the layout here. But that was effectively the blue 7s. It was £3 plus repeat chance. 320, 360 and £4 were just straight cash value squares, which I never collected. I would collect that if I landed on it because that was £3 plus repeat chance. Incident, which it loves to use, and I'm sure we're going to see that could bin you back to the start. You could get a power cutter, all sorts of stuff. That was the last gasp it had to kill you before getting the goal, which was the £6 plus a restart chance. So even back in the day on these, the whole board was kind of moot to me, because you could never get, it gave me a penalty there, of course, so yes, I could get it off that, but basically you would never collect anything all the way up to £3, which is £3 plus repeat chance, or then you'd push on for the goal, and that was about all I ever did on it. So it kind of made, in a little bit, and we'll probably see this when I get onto the feature, we'll probably see this, that it can really, really dick you around. It can bounce you around up and down for a substantial amount of time. I mean, the samples are fantastic. I'm hoping you can hear that in the background. There's a fairly good comment, and it's always deliberate. You're always going to get a yellow card, when he says, oh, was it deliberate? Yes, it's always fucking deliberate. So there we are. So the thing is there, if I hit that, so I'm going to deliberately just miss this like that. If you miss it by a mile, if you hit it there, it ends the feature and the gallant losers leave the pitch to collect their losers medals. But you would never collect this. Even back in the day, you're always going to be after that £3 or that £6. So there we are. I would never collect that. Maybe you're supposed to. I never would. I'd bet good money I'm going to get a 3 here. Let's see. And is it going to be a streaker or a power cut? Oh, fuck off. There we go, yeah. Would you believe it? Yes, you would. 80p. But even so, straight away, you can probably see that this is back from the era, and these things were fun. Oh, there we are. Oh. The samples were fantastic. The game, you had fun features, interesting features that took some time to play. Once again, I think I'm just repeating myself from the Indiana Jones video. If you look at what fruit machines used to be, the amusement with prize, and compare them with the absolute horseshit that we have today, God almighty. Is it any wonder that you can have a fruit machine in a pub for hours and hours and hours, and nobody apart from, inverted commas, a player, or really an addict, let's be honest, will go anywhere near them? Because we used to have, this is what the fruit machine used to be. They were fun, they were interesting, they were engaging. Even when you were losing, and I used to lose a lot, they were still they were entertaining enough to be compelling, and you'd want to play them. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that that's a good thing, because these things had me hook, line and sinker. I was infatuated with them, but I can kind of sorry, a little bit of cough there. I can appreciate them for what these are really a superb incarnation of what they are supposed to be, which is an interesting, fun to play machine where you're staking real cash, and you've got the chance of actually winning some real cash as well. So what have we got coming up next here? It's got a little bit of a dead patch, even though it's a bit behind percentage. So I guess my issue with this, I think, is that there's two major things going on, and that both of them are a little bit diluted. With the feature, you've got the fact that even though there's a lot of squares and it looks quite interesting, and it's a fairly involved board, fundamentally there's nothing on there to collect apart from base cash values. There's no nudge pots, like a nudge pot square. If there's a nudge pot, so if you had blue or red sevens close, maybe I can land on the nudge pot, or any features. There's no features on this trail. If you think about Indiana Jones, which was also a £6 jackpot fruit machine, think about the feature trail on Indiana Jones. All those features, all those nudge pots, little skill stops, all that kind of thing, that made it much more involving. And there was always the squares that you would want to land on. Like at the £1.80 point here, you'd have, say, Leap of Faith on Indiana Jones, which was a jackpot feature. You'd have nudge pots, you'd have the Staff of Ra, all of these things which would give you what you were basically after, let's be honest, which is the £3 repeater or the £6 jackpot. So as much as I like what they've done here with the feature, it's great with the theme. The samples are brilliant. The overall sound package on this machine, the way it plays, is great. But the feature ultimately, I think, is a little bit lacking. And that then ties into the second thing that they've going on, which is like the real band here, the REUPLOAD. And if you look at the list of things that are down the side there are lots and lots of repeats, like bonus nudges turns up, 3-4 times? Or they're just like straight £3 wins or £6 wins. It's like they've looked at the hidden treasures machines and seen what they're doing there, and semi-copied it, but not real. We'll let them spin there, but not really got the whole thing. Another great sample when you've got the high-low gamble on a win. We will certainly gamble on a 1. We're definitely not going to gamble on an 8. You know what? We'll have the feature. I'd like to score a goal on this feature, because you get quite a nice little blast of opera style. I mean, how many fruit machines can you say will give you a blast of opera when you get the jackpot penalty? Now, I think the problem is if I miss. Let me. Oh, I hit it. I actually wanted to just kind of miss that there, because I think you can carry on if you just about miss it. Well, let's see if we get a restart chance, which you can do. No restart for us. So, what's the overall point? What I'm trying to get at here? I think the point here is that this is an almost screenplay. It's an almost Indiana Jones. It's got all the ingredients. Ooh, what have we got there? Oh, Red said. The other thing he did used to do this was you know, he would just kind of throw them into your lap. There wasn't kind of the sense that you were achieving these things, like the whole relay thing there, and it just drop it into your lap at the end of it all. So yeah, it's a great machine, but it's not quite into the same category as screenplay, Indiana Jones, and other machines that I will be putting into the Hall of Fame as time goes on. I don't know how big the Hall of Fame's going to get. It's probably going to end up with quite a lot of machines in there, and this to me just doesn't quite make the grade. It's nearly there. It's like an 8.5 out of 10, maybe even a 9 out of 10. There was a lot of stuff to like about this machine, certainly when going back to 93, 94, when these things were around. If I saw one of these in a pub, you know, we went into a pub, and that was back when I wasn't really fussy. It's not like we would just go into any pub. Oh, there we are. You know, we just go into any pub that was nearby, and I would just play what was ever in there. So I wasn't fussy in that regard. I'd just play there we are, nice sweet, whatever was available. This is one of those machines that I would be happy to see, like an ace machine, a watch for my hidden treasures machine on a £6 jackpot would fill me with a slight sense of trepidation. Now, if you've seen the previous videos, Pay Rise and Open the Box, those things were doable, and those things were properly doable. So it's understandable, with the benefit of hindsight, why I was a little bit nervous about them. Not that that would stop me playing them, of course, but these were machines, the cup final and the big match, the clone that I remember, or semi-clone. I would kind of quite look forward to these, even though I knew they were a little bit lumpy, even though I knew that they had these harsh little patches in them. I would look forward to playing them. I liked them, particularly when they had a little bit of volume to them, because the sound package on BWBs of this era was so good. And if you look there on the that speaker there, and I do remember this cabinet because Barcrest used it as well. That speaker there was surprisingly good. It had a reasonable turn of volume to it, and a sort of respectable dynamic range as well. I mean, I'm not saying it was like, you know, some kind of high-end sound system, but it was actually okay for a fruit machine speaker. They obviously had some reasonable internal hardware on these things to knock out a half decent, well, soundstage was the phrase I was going to use there, but they were okay. If you stood in front of them, they actually sounded quite nice, you know, decent quality samples, and if they had a decent bit of volume to them, you could get a fairly respectable sort of aural experience of these. So let's just see. Maybe you can see here though that it is kind of like a game of two halves. You know, that these things are kind of disjointed from each other. The REUPLOAD here and the sort of football game here have no real relation to each other. It's like, yes, you can. And was it deliberate? Yes, of course it was deliberate. It's always deliberate. It's a yellow card. Yes, you can nudge in the feature from the REUPLOAD. But if you think about it, there's no way of getting nudges off the feature itself. So you can never get back onto the REUPLOAD thing here from the feature. It's like, it almost feels like they now there we are. I would collect that because that's £3 repeats, but I want to get a goal. So it's almost like they chucked in two quite distinct things here and didn't really gel them together. Now I would have collected out in the wild there. I would have collected my £3 repeater. Can I get a goal? Oh, come on! Oh, bugger off, you. Yes, I would believe it. Thank you very much. Was that guy a famous commentator? I don't recognise his voice. I'm not. The thing is, I'm not actually much of a football fan. I don't follow football at all, but I did quite like these machines. And if you, I mean, I would very much encourage you to play this machine yourself. We'll go for the feature there. It is a great machine, and that's why I've sort of taken the time to make a video about it. It is a good enough AWP to deserve a video on its own. I think BWB did really well with this, but they could have just, with a little bit more refinement, they could have made it one of the greats. And I think what the feature needed here was like some nudge pot squares, maybe a couple of features, something like that, and a little bit more integration between these two things. Let's see if we can get a goal and hear the opera music. Ah. Oh, come on, not again! Really? Ah! Grr. I mean, it is, though. This is the thing. It is genuinely entertaining. I've made this point before, that I'm just here playing an ancient pretend. Well, it's an emulated fruit machine. It's not a real fruit machine. And it's not real money, but I can get into this. I can enjoy it. I can have fun with this. And you know, if I think about the machines that I play in the emulator, the machines that I play out of sort of interest, I want to do them, I want to replicate what I did for real when I was winning, would be the newer machines. I mean, you know, yeah, Aliens and the Dons and the things like that. Not that I did all of the Dons, but you know what I mean. It's like you will do those out of oh, hang on, just missed that. We should be able to carry on. You'll do those out of curiosity. You'll do them to see how much you can take and all that kind of thing. But you wouldn't really, honestly, play them for fun. Whereas these machines, these older machines, your 480s, your £6, £8, £10, £15, I can play these, and I will happily play these for fun, for the entertainment value, even though the cash element is do not do a power cut again. Well, that's handy, isn't it? You know, even though the cache element is not present at all, we'll just spaff that. I think these machines are so good that they're genuinely entertaining to play. I'm going to try. Oh, that was okay. Yeah, I was a little bit further away than I want to be there. The one thing that I've got left that I want to do is get to the end and score a goal. That would be good. And by the way, if you do download this layout, I don't know if Reg has updated his primary download at Desert Island Fruits yet. If he has, then that's fine. But if you fancy playing this machine, what you might want to do is just double check that, or go to the thread in the releases area at Desert Island Fruits. I have posted a zip file of this layout with the correct character file as supplied by Wizard. So then you will make sure that you are playing the correct version of this machine, or rather the version of this machine that's working properly, because without that correct character file, honestly, you've got a real stinker of a machine, quite frankly. Okay, what we got here? That's a foul, yellow card, whatever. Yes, a yellow card. Shut up. Oh, bugger off! Can I work? Why can't we just get a goal on this thing? Ah! Okay, we'll stick with... Yeah, shut up. That's the end of that cup final. Yes, we know. Okay, you know what? Let's just keep plugging away at the feature here and see if we can get a goal. It defends it surprisingly well. I mean, you can actually get the opposition goalie sent off. That's one of the things I think the referee or the tackle can do. Raise goalie sent off. But it's by no means an invincible board. It can still... There we are. Booking. Not red. Oh! Arsehole. Honestly. What's that chant? The referee's a wanker. My God, I'm falling out with this ref. Yeah, there's some shenanigans going on here, isn't there? He's... I don't want to cry corruption or anything like that, but I'm not happy with the chap at all. Oh, there you are, and it's just real nasty bugger of a high-low gamble. This whereas like the Barcrests of the era, and Barcrest you would find in exactly the same cabinet, because Barcrest and BWB were using the same cabinet. Barcrest had really fair high-low gambles, you know, 2s, 3s, 10s and 11s, whilst they could lose, very rarely did, whereas BWBs, they will just kill you for fun on those numbers. A little bit of a facet of their gameplay. Now, I don't want... See, who wants to hit? That was £1.80 on that shot. Who wants that? That'll put me forward 6 squares. Come on. Not a 4. Okay, that's fine. Yep, subs in. Can we not get a 2? Corner, okay, well, you know what, I'd collect that in real life, but, oh, come on, just get past, oh, this is, I think, again, coming back to what I was saying before, is, it can kind of go on a bit in the... I mean, yeah, fine, it's a nice long feature, you're getting value for money, but there's just nothing in this. You know, the whole board for me, right up until that point, is just dead. It's £3 or the goal. With the absence of a nudge pot or feature squared, oh, bugger off. Or feature squares, it's kind of a bit of an all or nothing feature. Now, maybe that wasn't the correct way to play it, I don't know, maybe there's a smarter way to play it, but that was the way. That's the end of this cup final. You know, let's go back in. Right, okay, can we just get a goal? I'm sorry, I'm slightly aware now that we have just got a video, really, of me playing an old £6 fruit machine. There's not a huge amount going on. I'd just like to get to the end to get a goal. But, come on. Throw in, that's just kind of randomish. We'll deliberately slightly miss that. What you want to do is slightly miss it. If you can... Oh, gah! Wild pass, okay, whatever. Vintage stuff, joy to... Oh, for pity's sake! By the way, I'm trying to moderate my language and swear a bit less on these videos. So, there we are. There we are, okay, 20p again. Right, can we just... I mean, we could easily get a £3 repeat, probably just nudging the double bars. You'd fancy a gamble on an 11 for the £3 repeat, but I'm kind of just determined. All I want to do now is get a goal. I mean, you've kind of seen everything that there is to see about this machine. Streaker on the pitch, there we go, yes. I was told the other day, apparently when you get a streaker these days in football, or for quite a while now, that the cameras cut away and the commentators don't talk about it. Like you're supposed to just ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist. But back in 1993, 1994 here, oh no way! Back in 93, 94, the streakers were fair game. 20p again. Yeah, can we just get up there? I mean, bearing in mind, this machine's quite a bit behind. In my favour, it does kind of owe the player a few quid here. I'd be hoping it'd be prepared to climb out to a goal. And I mean, I could just play the sample. I could go into the samples menu and just play the nice little opera tune that it plays when you get the... Oh, and I hit the... You know, when I don't want to hit these bloody things, I can't miss them. When I do want to hit them, I can't hit them for love nor money. So, okay.
And that's the end of this cup final.
And then we will get our extra time option there. Okay, alright. Well, we'll stick around for a little bit longer. See if we can get to the goal. It does defend it, in my experience, but not. I mean, there's possibly a little bit. I'm kind of ignoring the relayed thing here over on the right hand side. Just kind of focusing on getting the feature. Let's just see if we can get in there. No. But I still think that this is a great AWP. There was quite... I mean, that one next door there. Can you see the blue boys next door there? That was originally another BWB 20p £6 machine, which was a great machine as well. At the moment, we only have... It's a great DX by Ploggy, but we only have a 10p £8 jackpot version, which is... It's a really clunky stake versus prize combination, and it doesn't work very well at all. It would be great if we could get hold of the original 20p £6 ROMs, those, because that's a very similar profile, I would say, to this. To cup final. Right, okay, can we get in there? Oh, it's just use it. Why? Yeah. It may. How long is it going to keep us around for? And I think, can you see here again this slight sense of futility with the feature, where it just keeps bouncing you around when you're only really after landing on one of two squares. It's just, yeah, it gets a little bit tiresome. Which is why it just doesn't make the grade for my money. There we are, okay. That is once again the end of this cup final. I mean, you can use the, you can get the wins, you can gamble up, and sometimes it will let you get the relayed lined up here. Certainly a good chance of getting exchanged into feature. It quite likes to give the £3 as well off that, £3 repeater, and that can repeat. Okay, oh, God, why has this been such an arse?
And he knows what's coming here. Yes, it's an early bath.
It's an early bath for me, dearie me.
So the gallant losers leave the pitch to collect their losers' medals.
I mean, I've not done, bear in mind though,
And that's the end of this cup final.
I've done, you know, I've been playing for quite a while here, and I'm still a pound up. And this is the other thing with these old machines, is that you could, yes, sometimes you get absolutely spannered by them, but let's do a respin there. But, you know, oftentimes, by the same token, you could play them for a while and not win or lose a great amount. Again, once more coming back to that idea of them being, you know, sort of amusement with prizes, that there's actually some genuine entertainment value in them. Right, I'm going to see if I can get this out to a goal, because the video, frankly, should not be this long. It doesn't need to be this long. Just chucking those £3 oh, piss off.
Well, he's given a corner.
Chance of a shot. We don't want to take the just two. Who's going to take a flat £2.60 at that point? Oh, Christ!
He's in trouble here. The card's out. Yes, it's a red card.
Right, fine. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pause it. I am going to get a bloody goal on this thing, but I'm going to pause it. I will not inflict any more of this on you. I'm going to pause it until I think I might be about to get a goal, and then I'll resume the video. And it's all just this sync. I just think this is a great sample to have in a fruit machine. This kind of operatic sample. Let's just see what this feature does. Okay, there's a £3 repeater. Can we get there, for God's sake? What? Oh, Christ mighty. We'll see this one out. Oh, I've got no more subs. I'm dead. Right, okay, it's a pause. Next time I start, I'll be up here somewhere, and we'll see if we can actually get a bloody goal on this thing. Right, come on then, just not a 4. Oh, for God. Goal kick, back to the start. Right, see you in a moment. Here we are, back up near the top again. Oh, yes! There we are, let's get the music. Well, bugger me, that was worth the wait, wasn't it? It was like a 3-second sample, my God. Oh, we've got extra time. There we are. Let's see what happens in extra time. I'll stand by what I say though. This is a genuinely entertaining machine. This is I do enjoy playing this machine, and it was one that I pounced on when I've got to be quite honest. There are so many layouts that have been released for version 5, 5.1 and 6 of the emulator that I just haven't played. I've never even loaded them up. It's a dreadful thing really, but I've never found the time to do it. And yet when Cup Final appeared, the sort of registered release thread at Desert Island Fruits, and I saw Cup Final, I was straight on it straight away. I was like, this is a machine that I really want to play again, and I do enjoy it. It's a fun machine. And thing is, I think BWBs historically have been the harder ones to emulate. They've got some extra security going on, even though they do run on the MPU4 hardware. I think a lot of them weren't emulated at all until MFME v3 was released, and that's quite a few years ago now, but there's something slightly special about these that needs a little bit of extra love and attention from an emulation perspective to get them running. And this Cup Final here is the first of these football ones that has ever been available in a fruit machine emulator. You would have thought that because they're like £4, well, this is a £6 jackpot, the big match is a £4.80 jackpot. There's never been a layout for that. You'd think that they would have been emulated years ago, but they haven't. And this one here, Cup Final, has never been available before. First time on these BWB, because BWB did a few of these football. I think they got the license and kind of used it a bit. Oh my God. So even though it's an old machine and you'd think it would have been emulated previously, it hasn't. So I was super keen to play this one, and it has lived up to my expectations, even though, like I say, I wouldn't quite put it in the absolute top tier. I'm going to risk one more gamble there. Oh, there we are. Let's just finish off with a little £3 repeat. Then, oh my God, this video's come up to 40 minutes. Do apologise. I thought this. I'll get this one done in 10 minutes, and not 10, 15 minutes. You know, not a huge amount to say. As ever, have been gassing on a bit. Do apologise for that. Let's just see if we can get that repeat. Oh, there we are. Yeah. The £3 repeat was so good because when it was in the token days, a £3 repeat is £6 cash. Unlike the jackpot, which is, you know, like £6 tokens, not quite the same thing. Particularly in a pub where they only had one machine, and because there were so many different designs of tokens around, it was always like, okay, if you get a load of tokens out of a single machine in a pub, what are you going to do, really? So I always preferred, in a lot of ways, I always preferred a £3 repeater to a £6 jackpot. Right, I'm going to shut up. Hope I've covered that machine well enough for you. It was a nice looking machine back in the day. Splendid classic from Reg here, which really captures the feel of the machine itself. I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to try and get this one done before the 40-minute mark. Get over to Desert Island Fruit if you want to play this machine yourself. Runs in version 6 of the emulator. Lovely machine to play. Great fun. I really enjoy it. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you next time.